Behind me, you can see the Sally Port where Sheriff Hammond said around 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon, an inmate coming back from court attempted to escape in the transportation vehicle. Other inmates and the officer had already exited this transportation van, but one mate managed to get back inside, get into the driver's seat, and then crashed into two different fences, and one of them was recently installed. You can see some of that damage on your screen right now. Sheriff Hammond says an officer tried to stop the inmate and was injured, but Sheriff Hammond said the officer is being treated at Erlanger and is expected to be okay. Thankfully, other officers were able to get control of the inmate, and that escape was ultimately unsuccessful. Sheriff Hammond also said there will be a full report done to make sure proper protocols were followed during this incident.
The inmate was taken into custody, still had on the leg irons, and so wouldn't have gotten far in this kind of incident, but we will be doing a little Monday morning quarterbacking. Is there a better process we'd have?
Now, this inmate could be facing several charges, including attempted escape, injuring an officer, and even possibly attempted murder, since he could have hurt someone with the van while he was trying to drive it away. This incident is still under investigation, and we'll have more updates as we get them.
Families in Bradley County are upset after finding the final resting place of their loved ones looking like this. Broken headstones and fences along with overgrowth at two cemeteries are drawing the attention of county leaders, and as Sam Pena shows us, the DA is now getting involved. Sam.
Well, the conditions at Fort Hill Cemetery have been a concern for quite some time now. Today I'm out here at Sunset Memorial Gardens, which is a cemetery that is nearby in Cleveland, Tennessee, and was also under investigation just last year. But it has seen major improvements, and after spending the day at Fort Hill Cemetery, I can tell you that the contrast is stunning. Sunken headstones, broken fences, and overgrown memorials took center stage at Bradley County's courthouse.
The grave was in disarray.
Bradley County commissioners voted unanimously.
13 in favor, none opposed, and 1 absent.
Thank you, ma'am. Motion passes.
To ask the district attorney to investigate Fort Hill and Hillcrest cemeteries after several residents complained about conditions.
Now we have the same issue going on with Hillcrest Cemetery and Fort Hill Cemetery.
A similar investigation by local lawmakers took place at Sunset Memorial, a cemetery located nearby in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Things wasn't so great in the beginning.
Joni Lupo is a Cleveland resident. Her husband passed away from cancer in 2020, and she says she struggled with Sunset's management.
I had to bring buckets up here to try to get the big rocks down, to try to plant my own grass, because the lady in the office said they just didn't have grass seed no more, that they couldn't afford it.
After the investigation led to a switch in managers, she says conditions improved dramatically.
They've been a lot better now, trying to seed the grass since the new management took over.
Mark McGuire is the manager at both Sunset and Hillcrest. Hey Mark, this is Sam Pena with News Channel 9. McGuire was surprised to hear about the investigation at Hillcrest, and he says the county never reached out to discuss this with him.
District attorney will begin to look at Hillcrest and at Fort Hill.
For families who lost their loved ones in the Sandy Hook massacre, families of the victims sued InfoWars host Alex Jones after he claimed that the shooting was a hoax.
20 first graders and 6 teachers died in the shooting, including a young woman from Cleveland. As Eric Price shows us tonight, her family believes today's ruling is a small step on the road to justice. Eric.
Kim, Victoria Soto, who was one of the victims in the Sandy Hook massacre, her father lives here in Cleveland and says his family has been harassed over the years from Alex Jones' false claims. Now that a judge ruled against Jones in a 4th defamation case, Soto says this will help protect families that are still suffering.
I lost my daughter, and I haven't seen her.
Carlos Soto lost his daughter Victoria in the Sandy Hook massacre in 2012.
It's going to be 10 years now.
Soto says Alex Jones' false claims about the massacre being a hoax caused many families of the victims even more pain.
Why would people say something like that?
A judge ruled against Jones in the defamation case brought by victims' families.
Hopefully that would change people's minds.
Soto says this is a step in the right direction in offering families relief from harassment.
It's good that the court system has seen it a way to protect the families from getting harassed.
For Soto, stopping these mass shootings will take effort from parents, not just authorities.
It's our job as parents that if we see our kid doing something wrong, Let's correct it. Let's not hide it.
Recently, a Texas judge gave out similar rulings towards Jones in 3 previous defamation lawsuits.
Part of that infrastructure bill focuses on getting more Tennesseans internet access, but also at an affordable price. The White House says nearly 6% of Tennessee residents don't have access to broadband infrastructure, and 17% of households don't even have an internet subscription. This bill will allocate at least $100 million toward providing broadband coverage across the state, reaching over 400,000 residents who are without it. Also, 30% of people in Tennessee will be eligible for the Affordability Connectivity Benefit, which will help low-income families afford internet access. The director of Meigs County Schools said better internet access is a dire need for families in his community, as nearly 40 to 50% of his students do not have access to reliable internet.
During the pandemic, we had such an issue with trying to do anything virtual. We were able to send devices home with all of our kids, but just because of the internet issue within some of the outer reaches of the county, they couldn't log in to see live lessons. We got in a situation where we were having to send home lessons on thumb drives.
The bill will distribute $65 billion nationwide to increase broadband access. The government said most of this money will be available through grants given to states.